Snow day, no problem. This quick video will show you some of the gadgets I use in the classroom, as well as the same gadgets I use outside of the classroom when the school is closed due to inclement weather. Here is one of my favorite tools, my Surface 2. I have to admit I'm not much of a Microsoft fan, but I absolutely love this computer. It's small, it's light, it starts up immediately, and the pen is really nice for taking notes. The other thing I like about the pen is it doesn't require batteries. That being said, the Surface 3 and the Surface 4 do have active pens that require batteries and are also slightly bigger. Some of my colleagues prefer the bigger Surface. I prefer the smaller, more portable Surface 2, but I don't believe they sell the Surface 2 anymore. Shown on the screen is an example of the notes I make in class. Our classrooms have whiteboard and blackboards all around the classroom. I use those for student work or for examples that I'm doing that are fairly close to the textbook, but when I'm writing notes that I'm expecting students to write down, I always do it on the Surface. This way, if a student is paying attention and needs to put his or her pencil down for a moment to think, what is going on? They don't have to worry about missing something I've written down, because after the class is over, I save this as a PDF and upload it to our class's Blackboard site. So they always have the class notes in case they need to fill in some gaps. My handwriting isn't great, and I don't put everything on the notes, so it doesn't let students really skip class. I haven't noticed much of a difference in terms of attendance, and I've been doing this for several years. The software I used for note-taking is simply Windows Journal. It's available with all Windows machines. It's not very obvious how to find it. I usually have to search for it the first time, but it is part of the standard Windows package. I can go ahead and write. I can change colors. I often do things like write things in red when I want to emphasize something. For instance, this will be on the test. You can also highlight things, but I found when you save it as a PDF, highlighting actually blocks out all the text behind it. You can also do text boxes. Although again, in class I'm just going to use the pen and handwrite my notes. You could also insert pictures. So there's a lot you can do with this program. Again, I'm mainly using it to write notes in class. To project what I'm writing on the Surface onto the class overhead projector, I use this wireless VGA device. This part gets plugged into my Surface, and this plugs into the VGA port on the laptop connection. This particular device also has an HDMI connector as well. What this also allows me to do is walk around the classroom, and if I have a particular example I'm working on, then I can hand the Surface over to a student. They can fill it out, and then again at the end of the class period when I save the notes, that student's work is also saved with the class notes. So what do I do on a snow day? Well, on a snow day, I'm going to use the exact same computer and the exact same software, but I'm going to use Camtasia, which by the way I'm using now, to create videos. Here's an example of one that I did on a snow day last year. This is going to be a complete example of how you could use Laplace to solve an entire differential equation. We'll be using partial fractions in this example. Okay, so I've just talked about how much I absolutely love my Surface 2. Well, we did get a chance to play around with an iPad Pro. And what makes the iPad Pro a lot different than a standard iPad is the ability to use a pen that's more like, well, the Surface pen. That is, it's got a hard tip and not the tip of a typical stylus. It lets you write in very accurate and small detail. And I was really impressed with how accurately I could draw. This program I'm using is called Notability. This is an example of notes I took during a recent math department meeting, and I was even able to take a picture of the notes that we had written on the board and paste it directly into the document. So at next year's conference, this might be my gadget of choice. Again, these are a few gadgets that I use to enhance learning in the classroom, as well as outside the classroom when, well, we can't have class. Here's hoping for a non-snowy 2016.